international finance and economic analyst and the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar. Mukhtar Mohammed joins me now for more on this conversation. Thanks for joining us on Business.
Morning.
All right, nice to always have you. I trust you have been well.
Very well.
All right, let's talk about Forex today. Let's talk about the FX code and all of that with the Central Bank of Nigeria. But first, the CBN is announcing that it is in the completion stage of forensic verification to address outstanding foreign exchange backlogs with payments starting soon. We've been on this Forex and backlog payment for quite some time, almost a year right now. And the federal government, or the CBN rather, is saying that it is resolving this $7 billion backlog, and very soon will be off it completely. How far do you see this going? Comments, Mukhtar?
Well, Justin, it's still surprising that we are still on this. I think you have. Since this administration came into power, that was the first issue. When this current CBN management team came to power, so that was the first issue they were trying to deal with. And so we are still there. And I remember some of these companies that were not paid then said that, look, we have backlog. And the CBN said they didn't have proof and that. But at least the good news is that the CBN is beginning to say, okay, maybe they have proof now and they are ready to pay them. That will do a lot in the retail sector. That will boost liquidity. Like I keep saying, liquidity has been a challenge. So if the CBN will be able to pay them, especially if they can do it soon, that will be very good for them, as also for their business and also for liquidity in the system. So it's good they are still looking into it, but I think it's taking too long. I don't know how long you have to do forensic audit to get businesses paid their backlog of what the CBN is owing them.
Okay, so Mukhtar, in your opinion, this delay, this too long that you have talked about, what impacts, has it really had on, the economy specifically? I know there was a time we had issues with our foreign airlines doing business with us and some other issues in the economy. So what exactly are the impact of these delays?
You just talk about the airline. Remember, that has caused, and up to this moment, Nigerians are still not enjoy cheap ticket like they used to enjoy, because some of the backlog that they're talking about are being held as foreign airlines also. So definitely that has had impact on Nigerians. That are also not attracting investment into a lot of sectors. You see how the Minister of Aviation is traveling all over the world to get new investors. These are something that happen that makes investors are not confident to come to your market. So that also is affecting investment in that sector. This also have led to job losses in some other sectors also, because when this money is not there, the businesses are not able to continue, and then sometimes they also are even shut down. And so all these are what has been the negativity of this not paying them this money. So hopefully they will be paid, and it will be a thing of the past.
Okay, so let's talk about the new FX code that was launched by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Among other things, the codes have 6 principles which fall under ethics, governance, execution, information sharing, risk management and compliance, and confirmation and settlement processes. It said they're all designed to align with international best practices while addressing Nigeria's unique challenges. So in your opinion, I'm sure you've checked that, you've gone through this FX code that was just released by our Central Bank of Nigeria. What are your thoughts concerning them, Mukhtar?
Justin, my thought has been, if no matter the code you release, is that code is not bringing liquidity, it's grammar. So it's grammar, because what we need is liquidity. All this code, transparency, integrity, these are things that are there before. They are not new. It's just that nobody want to implement them. They've always been there. So what we need to do is yes, I agree with the code, but how will this code help drive liquidity into the retail sector of the market? That's what we excite investors. That's what we excite Nigerians. That's what we bring down the rate. That's what we excite businessmen. It's not about the code. It's how much of liquidity will this FX code drive into the FX market. That is, for me, that's the key. So if you just look at it, the CBN just decided to do a waiver of license fee. It has a positive impact on the market yesterday. You saw that the Naira gained.
Yeah.
It tells you that liquidity is a challenge. So the Bureau de Change now say, look, so we now have about 5 million or 2 million to get in more FX, and that have added to the liquidity in the market, and you see the price has come down. So it's not rocket science. What we keep saying, that the challenge with the market is not administrative. It is liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Attract liquidity to that space. Then every policy you are trying to implement will just help to stabilize what you have done. So what we have seen before is that the difference between what the CBN is doing now and what previous CBN management team were doing is the current CBN management team should first of drive liquidity into the market. Then you now begin to stabilize it through some of these administrative policies that you have put in place, so that we enjoy stability. Because the problem is that a lot of the CBN, when we have challenge with the market, the previous management team, they will drive in liquidity into the system. They do not come up with procedure to be able to sustain liquidity in that system, to guarantee flow, to guarantee availability. So what happens is that when we have any external shock, then the Naira will now move to the next level. So what they are doing is fantastic. But first of all, drive liquidity in the system, tie it to these administrative processes that you have come up with, so that we can continue to maintain stability in the FX market.
Let's still talk about the FX market before we move on to talk about what the DMO said the present administration inherited, in terms of debt. You talked in passing, you talked about how we need to, drive liquidity in the FX regime. The central bank has waived the 2025 license fee renewal for the BDCs. Is it a welcome development? In your opinion, you said that it has actually shown some sort of improvement. But in the broader terms, I know there are some sort of regulations and transition to the new BDC regulatory structure the CBN is talking about. How far, in your opinion, would you say we have been able to address the issues of the BDCs and their impact on the forex regime, as we speak right now?
I think we have seen the importance of the BDC in the FX market.
Really?
Since the CBN came up from Emefiele starving them of supply, it is what has brought us to our need today in the FX market. And what have improved the FX market normally is when the CBN decide to supply liquidity to the BDCs. So we have seen that the BDC itself are a tool or a catalyst to stabilizing the exchange market. Now, there's no corporate governance in the BDCs. And that's why the CBN is trying to introduce corporate governance, global best practice for a sensitive sector like the BDC, which I think is fantastic. Now, in putting up that structure, then you need to go to the next level, with the CBN is saying recapitalization. Tier 1 BDC, Tier 2 BDC. But I personally think if you have Tier 1 and Tier 2 Bureau de Change, you hand over the Bureau de Change market to very few that will become very powerful, and they will be able to determine the rates. So you must also create a category 3, which will have to do with little exchanges that they have to solve for that effects themselves also. So the CBN has done well. In short, this is the first time the CBN is looking at how do we sanitize the foreign exchange market. And I keep saying it. They have looked at it. They have looked at inflation. They realize that the key driver of inflation is exchange rate volatility. So they now understand. They now understood. They now know that for us to deal with inflation and maintain growth in our economy, we have to deal with the FX challenge. And I'm happy now all hands are on deck to make sure we address this FX volatility and address it early. Even the Bureau de Change operators have been optimistic that this year will be a good year for the Naira.
We hope so. We're keeping our fingers crossed. It just has to be a good year for the Naira because it affects all of us. But let's leave the FX regime and talk about debt servicing and debt management. You know, reports sometime in the media sometime last week or not too long ago suggested that the presidency or the present administration inherited about 21 trillion Naira, which rose to about 142 trillion Naira. But the DMO has come out to say that Tinubu's administration inherited a total of 87.38 trillion Naira debt upon assumption of office, which also includes debts of the 36 state of and the FCT. In your opinion, how would you say we have been able to manage our, public expenditure in terms of debt servicing and all of that? The DMO is saying something else, reports are saying something else. Despite all of that, how far have we gone in terms of debt management and debt servicing since this present administration?
Debt management, I think, is a little bit better in the fact that it's tied to specific projects. Debt servicings have really improved. Before now, we do about 95% of our budget goes toward debt servicing, but now I think we are doing about 70%, which means we are beginning to do very well in terms of services. So, but again, like that numbers you just wrote is saying, I mean, in just within 2 years, what they've borrowed compared to somebody that has been in 8 years. So that means if they continue at this rate, you know what will happen. That means we may get into over 500 trillion before they leave.
Wow.
So we need to begin to look at how can we begin to see in terms of see that it become a PPP. Government, get your hands off some of these projects, build and operate by the PPP. That is the global best practices, because no government have enough funds to handle a lot of projects. So what they do, they partner with the PDP using the project as a springboard, and then tell you, you know what, take this project, build and operate, generate your money in the next 25 years, in the next 30 years. Then government will be able to channel money to more social investment and critical areas like education and health.
Okay.
So they need to begin to look at PPP. We have seen it work. We've seen it work in the Apapa Oshodi Expressway.
Yeah.
We've seen that work. We see something working, I think, somewhere in Onitsha between MTN also partnering. So we need to get the corporate entity to say, look, corporate Nigeria, can you build 5 kilometers? Can you build 10 kilometers? This is what you enjoy, tax bracket. That is the way to go, because that is the global best practice at the moment.
All right. As we round off now, since we're talking about partnership, both public and private now, the Lagos State government and the federal government just signed a memorandum of understanding on a 68-kilometer rail project connecting, the Lekki Free Trade Zone, VI, Lekki, and Ajah. Okay, my question right now is that in terms of development, what would the impact be on that corridor? And don't you think more states in the country should be looking towards rail projects, to drive not just infrastructure but also commerce and economic activities?
Justin, you've said it all, and that's why people like us say you can see what Lagos is doing in partnership with the federal government. They are building infrastructure. And there you are saying that you should collect the same value-added tax with them. That is it. You are just there. You are not doing anything. They are building infrastructure. They are partnering with other states. They are looking at how can we build good infrastructure, opening up. And then you now say, okay, the VAT, we should share it equally. No. They are thinking of businesses. That, for me, Justin, I normally say the Lekki Aziz is the new Lagos. And nobody wants to make the mistake that we made in the old Lagos. Where from the airport, ordinarily, there should be a rail link that should link you to a park. But that is what is happening now in Lekki. They are beginning to bring it because they are not, they are thinking early. So it's good. For me, it's a wonderful thing between the Lagos State government and the federal government. But I would have been more excited.
Okay.
If it was between the Lagos State government and one private sector.
Okay, yeah.
Than the federal government. For me, the federal government, if you are beginning to partner with Lagos, that means you may have to partner with Kano.
Okay.
You may have to partner with Borno. You may have to partner because you must be seen to be neutral. Because as it stands now, people feel that all projects that are coming from Lagos must be executed because Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is the president of Nigeria. So there must be equality. So that is why it would have been better for Lagos to partner with a private firm to build this train network.
All right.
So, but it's good for Lekki. It's good for the new Lagos Ajah. That will reduce traffic. That will boost productivity. That will improve economic activity, especially in the export-free zone.
Yeah.
For me, that's a fantastic thing they've done.
All right.
More kudos to the federal government and also to the Lagos state government.
All right, we'll wrap it at that. I must say a very big thank you to you, Mukhtar Mohammed, for your time on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that's indeed the size of the show for today. We must say a very big thank you to all of you who have sat back to watch. And indeed, we need to see more PPP, public-private partnership, in our infrastructure and other economic activities. So that way, there will be some sort of synergy. And of course, the citizenry will be the better for it. Many thanks once again. My name is Justin Akadonye. Thanks for being there. Bye.